Let's re-influence you, Witch Edition. I was asked to make a video on things that I think are actually worth it in the beginning of your practice, or things I think you should have. So here it is. Caveat, I still don't think you should spend a lot of money, ever. So the first thing is, I suggest getting a mortar and pestle. Do not fall for this one. I know it's very pretty, but it's shit. Get a heavy granite one. You can pick these up at thrift shops fairly cheaply, or even in home goods stores, you know, wait till they're on sale, whatever. Mortar and pestle. Why do I suggest a mortar and pestle? Because when we're using dried ingredients, they have no energy, yeah? You're gonna pick them up and you're gonna decide what aspect of this ingredient you'll be using in your work, and you're gonna connect with that and declare your intent. And then you're gonna chuck it in here and you're gonna smash some energy into it. This is kinetic energy, okay? You have to jumpstart, activate. There's many ways to activate. This is easy. And then once they're all in there together, you give them a common goal. They all have their individual assignments, but then you give them a collective goal as well while you're crushing it. It's a very meditative process. I really enjoy it. So a mortar and pestle. The next is incense. They come in so many different varieties, which means that if you're wanting to get to know a particular ingredient, but you don't want to spend the money on, say, frankincense, for example, you could light a frankincense incense, connect with the smell, the energy of it. How does it feel? Do you want to invest in that ingredient? They are also amplifiers in spell work. So if you don't have that ingredient, but you have that particular incense, you can still add it into your spell work. They are great for picking up the energy in a space. You can use them as offerings. You can collect the ash after they're burnt and use it in your witches and black salt. They're so versatile and inexpensive. So it's a good way to really dip your toes into different ingredients and whether or not you want to incorporate them into your practice. Then I'd have to say it's a heat safe bowl. Doesn't have to be a cauldron, but something that you can burn things in safely if you feel like fire is going to be a part of your practice. It heavily is for me, but that may not be for you. So if not, then disregard. But yeah, you don't need to spend a lot of money on that either. You could use a pot or, you know, a thrifted piece. This was $3, works just fine. Just something that you can work safely with. Burning spells, or even just having a fire present as you work. And lastly, I would suggest getting a Weed Forager's Handbook or an encyclopedia of the local flora in your area. That way you can get out into nature and start discovering and learning. These resources will help keep you safe while you do it. Is the thing you're looking at poisonous? Is it edible? What's its medicinal properties? Once you understand all of that, you can move into the metaphysical side of things, like connecting with the spirit of that plant and intuitively finding out what it could be good for in a spell. You might harvest some of it with permission and come back and do some research and realize that you were correct, or that there's even more correspondences that you didn't think of. Or maybe you were off base completely, but are you? Maybe you're discovering something else and you want to experiment. It's a lot of fun, and it's a huge self-education piece that every witch has to undergo for themselves. So do it. And I get asked all the time, how do I know if I have permission to take something or harvest something out of nature? The only advice I have for you is to check the subtleties of the energetic exchange. If you're sitting with something and connecting with it, and even asking if it's okay for you to harvest it, what's happening in the moment? Does it feel good or negative? Did a big gust of wind come and blow that plant away from you or towards you? Is there a positive or a negative omen? Like maybe a butterfly will come and sit on the plant or on you. Maybe you got bitten by an ant or stung by a bee. Yeah, check the subtleties of it all. There's no right or wrong answer. As long as you're coming from a place of absolute respect and adoration, you're usually gonna be fine. But I've definitely had times where it felt like a no-go, so I left it alone. Yeah, I hope that helps. Those are the things that I would suggest having in the beginning of your practice.